Alright. Responding to some comments from my video yesterday. Right? Somebody, of course, because anytime you're having this kind of a discussion, somebody just has to fucking throw this shit in like it's a fucking decent point. It's not a fucking decent point, it's a trash point. I'm sorry, it's a trash point. And I will explain. Somebody goes, will Saitama beat Superman? And I'm like, oh, motherfucker. Look, I remember hearing about One Punch Man. Everybody was raving about this show. And I'm like, well, what is the point of the show? Because I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan, so I'm like, well, what is the point of this show? And they said, this guy is so powerful that he kills all the bad guys in one punch. And I went, that sounds stupid as fuck. And so I never watched it. Because that was the description that I was given. It's about this guy who's a hero, and he beats everybody in one punch. And I'm like, that sounds fucking dumb. So, never watched the show. Still haven't watched the show. However, when Saitama fought whoever it wasn't Superman. The one where Saitama fought Superman, that was a DB, that was an exposition. They don't do like the real shit with that. They don't do the whole fucking explanation and all that shit, but they still do run the numbers. And the results were accurate. Saitama won. I don't get the percentage at the end, because what they do is they put all this shit into a game, into essentially a game simulator, and they simulate these fights with all of these different statistics and all of this different way. Don't ask me how they do it. I think they just kind of make it up. So they run this shit through numbers and whatnot, and it comes out with a percentage. This percentage of times this character beats this character in simulation. And sometimes they claim it's really close. 51%, you know, shit like that. But for the most part, you know, whatever, it is what it is. I mostly agree with the stuff. I mostly agree with everything they say. Because the way they lay it out and the way they restrict certain characters while not restricting other characters, you know, certain things that they just do where I'm just kind of like, alright, whatever. So we're playing by your rules. Like, it's Death Battle. And they go, I love how when they say, well, you know, people in the comments say that this character wouldn't do this or wouldn't do that. Well, this is Death Battle. Like, they're not going to, these are, if the characters went so insane against each other that they just had to kill each other and that must be the outcome. What if they just pulled out all brakes and said, this is it till the end? What would happen? Well, okay, fine. Well, why do you put so much restrictions on certain characters in certain ways? It's fucking whatever. Okay. They just don't want to run a shit ton of numbers, and because they know that it would wildly skew things, but yet they still are okay with whatever. You know, like, they're still okay with using certain people and not just going, why would we do that? That's stupid. Saitama's one of those things. I watched the whole breakdown of that character, and I went, holy Christ, now I know why I never watched this fucking show. Because they didn't really talk about the show, they just talked about what he can do and his powers and what he's capable of. And I'm like, oh Christ, I'm so happy I never watched this show. Because I'm watching all these scenes from the show where, yeah, you fucking dude hits him, and he goes, that was weak, and then he punches him, and they're dead. And I'm like, so stupid. Right? And they're just talking at this point of degrees, right? Like, they're just, at this point, they're just ramping up. Oh, he fought this dude and took a shot from him, and that was nasty. But not anywhere near as nasty as when he took a shot from this dude that also destroyed the whole fucking city, and we figure that took 5 billion megajoules of fucking C4 and 6 nuclear bombs, and that's, holy shit, it's happening now. And that, you know, he's able to take that much damage, right? Whoa. and when he punched this dude into pieces, you know, that's a big dude. He would have had to have hit him with this much force. And then they just ramp it up. They go, oh, this guy was even bigger. So that made it even stronger. And I'm like, so good. And yeah, he won. And I was like, whoa. Like the dude's fucking story arc is, he beats people with one punch. He's One Punch Man. You can't have a show and call it One Punch Man if at some point the main character, One Punch Man himself, doesn't beat the dude with one punch. Otherwise, why the fuck is the show called One Punch Man? Right? Dragon Ball Z is called Dragon Ball Z. Why? Because it's Dragon Balls. And they decided to say Dragon Ball instead of Goku. Because they could have named it Goku. And it'd still be the fucking show. But it would just be called Goku. Why is it called Goku? Because it's about Goku. Right? This is One fucking Punch Man. If he hits a dude and goes, holy shit, I actually meant to kill you with that one, and what the fuck? I'm going to be disappointed. And at the end of that fight, when it ultimately culminates to the one guy wins or one guy loses, you better beat him with one punch. Alright, motherfucker, I'm going to try this one more time. Okay, it worked that time. Fine. Right? Like, that better fucking happen because it's One Punch Man. Batman's Batman because it's Batman. If it was Batman, the dude dressed up like Flamingo Man, I'd be going, why is it called Batman? He's a flamingo. Yeah, he'd be gay. Pink. Standing around on one leg. Oh my god, fuck it, that would be an amazing show. But nevertheless, like, you wouldn't call that shit Batman. Right? It's One fucking Punch Man. Anybody who throws that character out, why? Why? What is the point of that? Oh, okay, well, yeah. Sure. Yeah, he wins. They have the worst writing. But, do they? Here's the funny thing. In order to make this video, because again, I said, never watched the show. But I watched a video that somebody had made, kind of condensing and explaining all of the story arcs of the TV show. All the different seasons, all the different story arcs, all the things that kind of happen. And it's just a giant, if you want to watch 10 seasons of a show in an hour, right? So that's what I watched. And I'm sitting there going, this sounds like an amazingly good show. I'm like, why the fuck does everybody describe it as he punched? Like, the fighting is probably the most inconsequential part of the fucking show. And everybody goes on about the fighting. He punches a dude and they blow up. Who fucking cares about that? I care about all the fucking character development that all of a sudden I'm finding out is in this show. Like, what in the fuck? Why do you idiots hide that shit? I would have been watching this shit for years had I known that it was actually good. What in the fuck? But everybody's telling me, yeah, he punches dudes. Who fucking cares? Like, that's the most worthless part of the show. And that's kind of the point of the show. Like, I come to find out there's a deeper plot and deeper, like, meaning to it, and I'm like, nobody understood the show they watched and were such big fans of. And I'm like, oh my god, this is ridiculous to me. Nobody explained it to me like that. Everybody was like, dude, he fucking punches guys one time. And that's awesome. You didn't get the show very well. This is like... Yeah, and then he goes, this sucks. I hate being this powerful. That's cool. Like, that's an interesting character arc. Like, that's a fun quirk to watch play out. But that's not what anybody I ever fucking talked to that watched the show cared about. They all cared about that he punches dudes. Apparently after that, they turn it off and go, that's cool. That wasn't the end of the episode. Like, man, these are great shows. They last about 10 seconds. Some of them, I imagine, like, I don't know, fucking how long before he punches a dude. It seems like it's pretty early in the episode that he punches fucking dude, they die, and then they have to fucking go on with the actual good part of the show. Right? Like, it's almost, it's such a parody of anime. It's such a parody of Dragon Ball Z. Right? You want to know why Saitama beats everybody? Because he has no weaknesses. What is his weakness? What has he ever suffered? Has he ever bled? Like, honestly, it's an honest question. I've never watched the show. Has he ever bled? Like, outside of the beginning episodes when he's more or less normal, when he becomes One Punch Man, from that point on. Like, does he ever bleed? I don't believe I ever saw anything like that. I saw him taking a lot of shots and just kind of standing there. Right? So, yeah. The dude is impervious to damage, and he beats people in one punch. That's the point of him. So let's throw him in there and see who wins. Oh, what a surprise. The guy who's literally written to always win with one punch. And I rewatched the fight with Superman. And he fought him and made it all interesting looking and fun and shit like that. And he's like, alright, I'm done with this shit now. And blew Superman in half. Because he's One Punch Man. Like, the whole point of making that video, in my mind, was for the people of Death Battle to go, look, okay, fine. We'll use this retarded parody character because all of you people don't understand the point of the show that you love so much. So, we'll throw him in a death battle with the most strongest character ever fucking cheesed into existence, Superman. And what happens? He wins with one punch. Because he's One Punch Man! Like, what? Why bring him up? I imagine that's exactly the point of the reason why they did that. Is to go, you guys are asking for it. But it's retarded because it's One Punch Man. Yeah. So yeah, One Punch Man beats. I guess that's the one wild card. It totally breaks my argument. Fair enough. That the parody character, a parody could be made wherein the writing is not commensurate to the power level of the character. That the power level of the character can literally be so broken that it's effectually, he can't be hurt, and he wins with one punch. Yet, still, there could be good writing all around that horseshit, and sure. Because the point of One Punch Man, apparently, and I'm going to start watching it, because fucking it looks really good. The point of One Punch Man, apparently, is you can have an action anime about action anime characters, and they can have deeper, like, they could be well-written characters. Like, they don't have to be these one-sided horseshit characters, right? Which Dragon Ball Z is pretty much in the first couple of seasons. But again, they grow. It takes years and years and years, but, it takes a lot of guys screaming. But ultimately, we find out why they're screaming. But with One Punch Man, the characters are the interesting part. It's the characters, it's what they go through. That's the interesting stuff. The fighting, okay. Well, I mean, it's an action anime, and it's about martial arts characters because they can be deep too. So I guess we'll do fighting, but we're gonna make that bland as fuck. Oh, he just wins with one punch. Like, it's almost disappointing because you're not rooting. Are you seriously rooting for? Are you seriously sitting there sweating, going, "Oh, I don't know if he's gonna pull this one out." It's One Punch Man. They couldn't have made it more obvious. This isn't gonna be about the combat. I feel stupid for not fucking catching it. Whatever, dummy me. I'm gonna go watch some One Punch Man. So, whatever. Somebody deflated my argument. There can be good writing around a character that is ultimately powerful and cannot be beaten. But does it really prove my point?